friends. We are continuing after quite a hiatus there on the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set, and this is one that it just kind of got away from me. So if you're going through the playlist and you notice there's quite a gap of time, that's why. It was one of those that I just kind of put on the back burner. But indeed, it's time to finish up LEGO Pirates of Barracuda Bay. It's just one I've wanted to get back around to for a while. Finally, we finished up the LEGO Home Alone set, and I thought it was time to kind of check this one off the list. Love the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set. Probably one of the most impressive ideas sets that they've ever done. And I can't wait to get right back into it. So let's rejoin our pirates here on the island in Barracuda Bay, where they have apparently crashed. So let's get right to it. Here we have bag number 7, little bag number 7. Now, what we're going to be doing mostly with this bag is we're going to be kind of building up this little area here, which is just a part of Barracuda Bay itself. And we have another bag. I'll empty this out. It's the bigger bag. Now, it's going to be fun because we actually get another pirate in this one. His name is Tatuga, for obvious reasons, as we're about to see. So let's check out Tatuga here. A sentence that I'll probably never say again in my life. Here we go. There he is. I don't know much about tattoos, but you know, this is, oh, look at this. I was trying to put a pineapple. You know what? Let's just look at that for a second. Look at that. Call him Pineapple Head. It's funny, the pineapple piece is just printed on a minifig head. So Tatuga has this facial expression and that one. You know what? I like Tatuga happy. Just bring him around right there. It's funny because sometimes I feel like most of the LEGO sets I own are like movie sets or based on comics and things like that. So sometimes I feel like I don't actually have a whole lot of yellow little minifigs. And it's funny when you get back into, you know, regular LEGO land and we go back to those guys. He's kind of got an Aquaman look, right? With the gold belt and the green pants. And the little tattoos are really funny. I particularly like the parakeets, the mermaids, and the anchor there. I think all he's missing is some arm printing that says Mom or something like that. And of course we have the ship itself on the back. So this is awesome. Looking great. He does have one accessory, and it's his Buccaneer Sword here, if I can find it. It should be scattered amongst this stuff. Now, of course, since there was such a gap in between me building this and the last time I had it out, it's possible that I've sorted pieces into the wrong place, but nope, here it is. It was actually in this little bag, which is kind of the little tiny pieces. It's funny, after putting together the Home Alone set, it didn't really have a tremendous amount of like tiny little pieces. Hey there, how you doing tonight? But we have a bunch of tiny little pieces in this. And sure enough, that's where we're gonna find his sword here. Let's give Tatuga his dignity right here. I know, right? Oh my gosh. I've had this for forever. Just kind of laying around. I always like to try to buy these whenever I have VIP points or, you know, something like that that can kind of lessen the blow. But goodness, these things are expensive as all get out. And I'll tell you what, the scary thing about this set in particular is all these rumors flying around right now that apparently it may get canceled, or not canceled, but retired here pretty soon. And those are words that are scary to any LEGO collector. We never want to hear that, particularly anybody who hasn't managed to grab this set yet. I mean, I think that would be a really poor move, actually. I mean, I can't speak to their internal like sales numbers or anything like that, but I would think that this set is a kind of an evergreen set, that it's a consistent seller. That would just be me, but I mean, I would think that, but you never know. Maybe it's not doing as well as we think it is, but I mean, it's been nothing but popular in fan circles. So, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, and we are getting some of these delightful little Lego bananas. Look at those. I wonder how long that these particular form factor banana have been like utilized. let's get this up a little closer. We've got a barrel of bananas. Clearly they're learning to live out here on Barracuda Bay. Just trying their best to survive, keep those vitamin C levels up. What was it? Isn't there an episode of Gilligan's Island where a bunch of them don't have enough vitamin C and they end up getting scurvy or something, or going a little crazy? Come to think of it, that may explain a lot of events of Gilligan's Island, because that show is trippy. Maybe that's it. Maybe like nothing. Maybe none of that crazy stuff actually happened on Gilligan's Island, and it's all like a hallucination. Maybe they're starving, and you know, it's a rough time for everybody. Maybe Gilligan's Island. Maybe they went bananas. Maybe. Yeah. All right, got us a little bit of a little cargo area right there where they stored up some stuff. Okay, got that going. Looks like they have a cherry in that box, so sure. Oh, here's something that... Okay, man, take care. And here's something that looks like it could be a little dark here. You know, every now and then Lego does something a little dark, and it's just... Usually they're pretty G-rated with everything, but this is interesting. So I think what we're building are some skeleton arms that are like coming up above the surface. But I could have totally misconstrued like what it's supposed to be. But I don't think so. I mean, you've got like the little skeleton hand right there coming up. And it'll be really funny if that's not what it's supposed to be and I end up getting it wrong, but it's the fun. You kind of discover it as you go. All right, let's get this. All right, man. Take care. Enjoy the game. All right. Here's this little flower there. We'll memorialize that poor sap that sunk. Okay. Let's see. Oh, fall time. Have to clear my throat every other word. The wonders of allergies. A barrel going here. And looks like we're building out the dock a little bit more. And that's pretty much, I think, what this bag is designed to do. I think it's meant to build out the bay a little bit. It's not until the next bag that we return to shipbuilding. And that's when we kind of return to that sort of style. Been so long since I built this. I'm putting things in the wrong spot. All right. There we go. The randomness of all the little bits and flowers and things is really amusing in this set. And it kind of gives it away as an idea set in a way, because in most designer sets that are actually designed by Lego proper, I feel like you don't get a whole lot of just random little bits of stuff everywhere. And that's what this feels like on the island portion. It just kind of feels like, no, we'll put a little flower here, we'll put a little decorative flourish here, we'll put a little this, we'll put a little that. It kind of feels like it's a quest for detail when you get into it. Just kind of having fun putting little random bits. And I'll tell you, it's a real palate cleanser when you end up building a set that's as different as, say, something like the Home Alone house, which I just built. You can, go to something completely different, and you can have a lot of fun just retraining your brain to kind of get readjusted to something that's aesthetically just its own thing. And of course, I suggest that for anybody who builds as frequently as I do, is, keep it varied. You're gonna get that Lego burnout going if you're not careful, which is a real thing. Thanks. I think the worst thing that anybody could do Just straight up marathon build through one theme, like all the sets in one theme, unless they're extremely varied, which, you know, that's fine. And that happens with some, but I think people burn out pretty easy on one theme sometimes if they're not careful. It's much, much more enjoyable to keep it interesting. I think that's a rule for any hobby, honestly. It's not just Lego. It's anything. Anything. All right. American Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. Hope everybody watching, whether it's live or later on, as many of my viewers get to see it later on. Hopefully everybody has a very happy Thanksgiving. Thankful for the blessings me and my family have enjoyed, and just thankful to the good Lord that things are as good as they are. I'm thankful for Lego. I think that's okay, right? I can be thankful for Lego. That's all right. Only a Scrooge would say you couldn't be thankful for Lego. It's the greatest Yuletide danger of all, being a Scrooge. Other than, like, you know, falling off a roof, putting on Christmas lights. But if Clark survived it, then by golly, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Heater finally kicked off there, so maybe there won't be so much background noise. Maybe one of my cats meowing or something like that. I think we can handle that, though. A little quieter now. This is fascinating, the kind of weird mishmash of methods that's going into building this little part of the pier here. I enjoy it, though. It's really fun. All right. Right there. And I'm just going to cap this off. I think we're halfway through the building of this set, actually, because we built a good little half of the ship. Of course, there's two configurations for Pirates of Barracuda Bay. For those that are watching that may not be familiar with the set, I'd say most that are watching probably are, at least to a certain degree, fairly familiar with the set. But one of the configurations is the Shipwrecked Mode, which is what it has you do first, because the pirates, and this gets into the story kind of building that I've talked about, how Lego does things. Like, there's a thematic way that you build. It's kind of, there's storytelling built into it now, which is a big thing they're into these days. And the idea is that the pirates they've, you know, crashed and they're shipwrecked on in the bay. And so we're going to start out in that mode, and then apparently you get an alternate set of directions. With a few steps and some added pieces, you reassemble the ship into a full piece. So I'm definitely going to do it like that. I'm all about, you know, the story experience of the build. And I think this one probably, and we'll see, you know, when we get there. But if I had to guess, this will be a more intense version of the story build that I'm always talking about, because you're actually going to participate in the rebuilding and the repair of the ship. So I think that's a really special idea. So we get the Black Seas Barracuda back together. I don't know. I think it'll be an interesting, like, narrative sense of completion that you wouldn't really get with other sets. So that's as exciting as I'll get out when it comes to narrative possibilities and what you can do. All right, so apparently this is going to hook in right here at this bottom layer. I think you just put it like this. Yep. How cool is that? So this is going to be pretty substantial once you kind of join everything up here. And there's Tatuga, or Tatuga, however you want to pronounce it. He's just, you know, he's chilling. He's having a good old time. He's probably out of his mind right now in some kind of homebrew of some sort. Let's see. But he's all right. That's why he's smiling. He's feeling no pain. So we're going to take 5 of these little guys, and we're going to kind of build part of the pier. This will definitely be a tall piece with 5 of these kind of coming together. All right. There's our 5 high right there. Got that. All right. And of course, we have a healthy number of vines. They're going to lay right against the column. Love it. And this is just going to connect to this little piece down here. And I should get it to a similar height as the other side. Then it'll be more about building everything up. So we're getting our supports laid in. Okay, now we just have some random pieces that's going to go in one of the barrels. Well, not exactly random, but still. So, to get this turned around so we can see what we're doing at the right angle here. Always amused by the little pig piece there. All right, with a barrel behind the pig, we are going to load it up with just the most necessary pirate equipment that you can imagine. We have the rake. That's right. Every good pirate needs a rake, right? We have the shovel. Ooh. And we also, in case things get messy, we have the broom. So we're going to scrub the deck if we have to. Wonderful. Okay, another little morbid piece of building here. There's no question about what this is supposed to be. We're going to have our dearly departed friend here. For the purposes of this video, he will be called Mo. Thank you, Mo. And Mo was apparently in an army, not the army. We don't know which one here. We're going to say Mo died defending a clam. He was incredibly hungry. God bless him. Think about his family often. Thank you, Mo, for your service. All right. Say maybe he was part of Napoleon's army here. All right, give Mo some. There we go. It's Dave's brother. Oh, my. Oh, Dave. Got his toes just hanging out here. And here's the most morbid bit of all. He's missing a leg. And that is the intended build. And okay. All right. I get it now. Earlier, I questioned what this little thing was, a little white piece. And I was like, oh, is this part of a skeleton? Well, yeah, it is. The deal is, I think that when you set him back here, it's supposed to be his other foot, like coming up out of the water. At least I think that's what they're going for. So it's pretty funny and pretty morbid. Everything's a little dislocated back there. He's just kind of chilling in the water, just sort of thinking about his life and renegotiating about some of the choices that he made. He's just thinking about the way things used to be, man. He's a sad feller. All right. Now we're going to be building some more on the deck up here. And let's see. Another little Technic pen. Yeah, exactly. If he'd only eaten it before he'd step foot onto the island, he may still be with us. And stupid decisions like that you can't take back. Once you're on the island, you're pretty well done. You know, if only he had noticed the barrel of bananas setting to the side, then Mo could have easily survived this whole ordeal. But, you know, I'm sorry, Tatuga. I'm sorry. Gotta move you here. We're gonna put you down here. Once again, I'm going with the Tatuga is stone drunk. He doesn't know where he's at. He's just happy to be here. It'll only be when he sobers up just a little bit. He's gonna realize how horribly hungry he is. Hey, honey, doing all right? Poor old Tatuga. He's had himself a time. Who knows? Maybe if we can get the Black Seas Barracuda rebuilt, Tatuga will have a way home. Yeah, fermented coconuts. It was coconut milk of an entirely different design. It's as bizarre a thing as you can imagine. And I would like to think that most of the guys on the island sort of don't have a grasp of reality anymore. Like they don't know. They are just beside themselves with starvation, you know, thirst. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's that time of year, isn't it? Oh goodness. It's like I was saying earlier, I'm thankful for Lego. just one thing I'm thankful for, you know. Not as much as, say, family or anything like that. But it's okay to be thankful for Lego. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And, of course, when you're building the Black Seas Barracuda and Barracuda Bay, I mean, it can't get much better. It can't get much better. There's not a lot of room to go any further up, in my opinion. You know what? It almost sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but you know what? That's kind of the way I feel. It's like, you know, this is my happy place right here. You gotta build a little bit, bring a little joy into your life, just a little. You deserve it. Build some happiness, build some positivity. Just keep trucking. Keep trucking. All right, we're building quite the structure over here. Maybe it'd be better if we actually got a little closer. I think I got a little out of focus there. I think I was beginning to see things like Tatuga does, which is about halfway and blurry as all get out. That's how Tatuga goes through life. I'm thinking Tatuga is he's the kind of fella that is just, you know, he has a problem, but he's too proud to admit it. And at this point, the habits are to get him to normal. That's what we're going to say. He's just trying to get to normal. All right. Coconut water is coconut milk, dangerous thing. Very dangerous, make no mistake. You don't mess around with the coconut milk. Ah, here's my missing piece. If only these guys could build themselves a turkey, maybe they would have a happy Thanksgiving. That's what I'm trying to do for these fellas for Thanksgiving, is I'm trying to get them off the island. But at this point, they're probably just thankful to be out of the bag, because this has sat on my couch down here in the corner for a good long time. I'm actually afraid to see how long it's actually been since I was building on this. I would almost hate to know. Life gets in the way, and you just, you know, before you know it, time slips on past. It was building the Home Alone house that really got me thinking, you know, there's no reason that I shouldn't complete that terrific Pirates of Barracuda Bay set. There's just no reason. Why give up when I'm this close? And it wasn't because I wasn't having a great time building it, because I was. Fantastic set. And of course still is. We're still having a blast with it, of course. But at the same time, you know, it's just a circumstantial thing. You know, I don't think so. But it does exist in animation, because you would have to go back to the original Lego pirate sets, which includes a lot of these characters. Some of these characters are new. So, you know, of course, there's some of this is brand new stuff. But a lot of these characters and a lot of these concepts and, you know, the ship itself and Redbeard and all of that, a lot of these are old concepts. So if you go back, you can see in commercials, you know, there was little animation and character stuff and just neat little tidbits like that. And that's where you can kind of see any sort of media related to the Black Seas Barracuda and these pirates, which have been a staple for Lego for years. So it was great to see the Lego Ideas program, whoever it was, I can't remember the name, created this. See him think, well, what's a good explanation for why we haven't seen these guys in so long? And the explanation is, well, they, you know, they had a shipwreck, so they've been stuck. Only you can help them build their way out. Also, only you can prevent forest fires. That's what we need, a Smokey the Bear set. All right. So I'm just continuing to build out this pier here. Yeah, it rhymed. All right, not much more left of this bag, really. It's pretty concluding pretty quickly. This may be a funny thing, but I feel like that Lego will kind of breed a little bit of patience and appreciation of the moment. It's a funny thing to say that, you know, a Lego set might kind of imbibe some of that in you, but I think it does. The Dare Lion. Yeah, the Dare Lion. He's, you know, I personally think the Dare Lion has a different problem. Of course, he's not using, he's not smoking or anything like that, or any of the other things he warned us about. But I think the Dare Lion might be using steroids. Maybe he's taking some supplements. Human growth hormone, perhaps. I'm thinking that could be the problem there, because I don't know if you really looked at the guy, but he's jacked. So I don't think it's all natural. I'm just going to call out the Dare Lion right now. That's probably the reason the Dare program ended, is they found out, you know, there was kind of a scandal with the Dare Lion. He's not who you think he is, kids. All right. Now I want a Dare Lion minifig. It would be a nice minifigure. Be part of the Icons of Nostalgia collectible minifig series. Coming soon. Coming soon. We have a little spot of wood right there. It's a lot easier to find pleasing angles of building the Home Alone house or the Daily Bugle, because they're a lot more squared, and this thing is just kind of all over the place. So you end up with some crazy angles just trying to show everything. Just trying to get it halfway decent looking as you build. It had been so long since the last time that I streamed this that I had to go back on the YouTube Studio app and pull up one of the old streams to see which part I would be on. Yeah, it's been that long. But not only to see which part I'd left off on, but also to re-download my thumbnail image that I'd made of me as the pirate. I actually had to go and get it from there because it was too far back in my files to where I couldn't remember where the thing was. So that should tell you a little about the length of time that we're looking at. But, you know, when there's no better time than the present, what am I going to do? Say, oh, it's been too long, and then what? Then decide maybe later that it won't be as long as it was. It's only going to be further in the past the longer I wait, so I might as well just, you know, make it happen. Why wait? Why wait? Carpe diem, whatever that is. Seize the day. Of course, you know, for some of us, that means build a Lego set that's been laying there. That's no shame in that. Okay, maybe there's some shame in that, but it's all right. We have a very interesting little window here. And I see, this is kind of meant to convey that it's like one of the windows from the ship, and they have it built in to the pier. And that's what I love about the crazy creativity of this set. It's more than a vehicle. It's like, hey, let's disassemble a vehicle and show all the weird kind of, I guess, random things. Like, look at this. The reason why this slant is here is so this window will go in at a slant, and that's why they use that hinge up there, so that you could get it at an angle and it would still stay without having to peg in to something. So it gets this beautiful kind of atypical look here. What's the word I'm looking for? Incongruent? There's a different word, but whatever it is. All right. So this just rides over, kind of caps this off. What would you be known for if you're a pirate? I think talking too much. I think that would be it. I think I would be the pirate that I would make declarations and speeches, and everybody would just be, you know, wondering what the point was. And I would be known as a loudmouth, I think. Conversational pirate. I would say that maybe, you know, they would say that, you know, gee, he's awfully philosophical about being a pirate. No one's really putting this much thought into it. He should just be having a good time. He's thinking about it too hard. I'd be the first pirate in history that that other crew members would mother quite a bit as they sort of express their concerns. You know, they're like, you know, oh, come on, Jared, you gotta stop taking yourself so seriously. It would be in hushed tones. They would take me to the side. It would be, you know, I would say it would be embarrassing, but it's more of a sign of endearment as they shower me, you know, with that kind of kindness, that kind of support. It's just it would be a lovable, supportive crew. Kind of like Robert De Niro's Pirates in Stardust, who are just the loveliest bunch of supportive, beautiful individuals. Everybody's just very kind. Oh, man. It's still one of the funniest groups of pirates I've ever seen in my life. It's the Neil Gaiman Pirates. If y'all haven't seen the Robert De Niro, that's his Pirates are some of the funniest, most heartfelt gentlemen, I think, on the seven seas. Love those guys very much. Very, very pleasant to see something subverted. Anybody that's seen it knows what I'm talking about. They subvert every aspect of pirates. It's in the name of fun and in the name of not taking it so seriously. Here we go. I think also there's a possibility that me as a pirate, I would be the first to succumb to the sea madness. I'm not above it. I would like freak out very early into the journey. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Stardust is a wonderful movie and introduced me to Charlie Cox. And I just remember when they announced Charlie Cox as Daredevil, I was like, hey, Charlie Cox from Stardust. Way to go, buddy. I was, you know, it was a good thing because I was like, oh, he was lovely in that movie. How wonderful. It made me feel better knowing that he was a great performer. So I knew that everything was going to be all right with Daredevil. Now, I'm one of those weirdos that still love Ben Affleck as Daredevil. But but they're very different Daredevils. One is very much, I think Ben Affleck very much represents more of that, 70s and 80s Daredevil. Charlie Cox is more like Brian Michael Bendis Daredevil. And anybody that's read the books, you're going to know what I mean when I say that. They're the same character, but sometimes they don't feel like the same character when you read those two eras of Daredevil comics. That's not a diss or anything. It's just the character evolves so much at that point that it's kind of seems like a new phase. I mean, it's still very much the same character. I'll tell you, the social media platform that I'm finding is getting me closer to a lot of my, old heroes and things that I ever thought would be possible is Twitter. I feel like if you have a really good chance of the celebrity or the famous person or whoever that you're communicating with, for some reason on Twitter, there's a real good chance that they will, at the very least, acknowledge or hit the like button or whatever on your thing that you're telling them. And it's quite an amazing feeling. Alex Maleev, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, did the Daredevil art for years. I mean, years upon years when I was a teenager. And he was the artist partner to writer Brian Michael Bendis. And I was just floored by how good the art was. I was always just tremendously impressed by everything he did. Well, I found him on Twitter, and it's a funny feeling to get someone like that who you've looked up to for so long, when you were so much younger, when they like your compliment or, acknowledge. And I'm not saying, that he communicated with me or anything, but it's just funny that him or whoever manages the social media is, seeing the thing that I wrote. It's cool. It's a weird feeling, but a welcome one. Very welcome. He's a legend to me. And why not tell people like that, Some people are really adverse to speaking with celebrities and anybody with any kind of fame because they're kind of afraid it'll ruin their perception of them, or they might have a negative experience or something like that. Well, that's all well and good, but take a chance. You never know. It may be a good thing. Maybe a good thing. Maybe not everybody's going to be a sweetheart, but still, you might have a little bit of a Shatner in there every now and then. Somebody who may not be too concerned about being nice. I will say I totally blanked out when I met Bruce Campbell. I didn't know what to say. I just kind of tried to, just exchange some niceties, but I was really just kind of a little stunned. So I just decided it would probably be better for me not to say too much, which I think was probably the right move if you're not real sure what to say. But I was definitely vibing pretty hard, especially after, you just tell yourself, man, this is Ashley J. Williams right here in front of me. It's a lot to deal with. And, you love it as long as, you like me and you're dressing up as Ash for Halloween in high school and stuff. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. To see him standing in front of you as a real guy, it's a lot to take. All right, we have another one of those lovely columns to build here. I think it's the last one. Yeah. Briscoe County Juniors, what I remember a lot of when I was a kid. Talk about a versatile actor. Still wish Bruce Campbell had the chance to play Mysterio as he was meant to. he would have been a great one. Especially the version of Mysterio they were going to go with, which was going to be more comedy-based, which, you know, there's precedent for both types of Mysterio in the comics. There's Mysterio, super serious Mysterio from Daredevil, and then there's comedy Mysterio. There's kind of in the middle Mysterio from Silver Age of Spider-Man, where he's sort of serious, but, you know, he's still kind of a little jokey. All right, so we've just placed this over top of the vines here. We can see that that's just kind of building up. It's actually getting really tall like this. I do love the use of the vines here. I think that's really nice, actually. It just gives it that extra little bit of detail, that extra little bit of realism, in air quotes. And it just, you know, it's a Lego set, but you might as well add a few little visual flourishes. And here we have some, I guess, grapes. I think the other thing was cherries. We're going to say these are grapes. And we're going to put them in the storage crate right here, as per the directions. All right. This is we're boxing up food in honor of Thanksgiving. And I think, here's something funny. Well, what do we have here? Is this, it kind of almost looks like a cookie, but we're going to say it's crusty bread. I think it's kind of the only thing that can make sense in this situation, right? Crusty bread. They don't want to keep that in there too long. I hate to break it to them, but it may not be the wisest of ideas to keep that bread like that. All right. So those go at the bottom here. We have one of them right here. And then the other one with the grapes goes right there. And I think I need to bring this one forward. They have a very specific placement on this, and I do want to get it the way they have it. It's kind of a hang up of mine. I don't want to, it could go any which way, but that's just not what I like to do. I want it to be as exact as possible. There we go. I know I've said it before, but well and truly, this bag really is wrapping up now. Not much longer on this thing. Okay, we have apparently it shows another banana in here, so maybe I prematurely used some of my bananas earlier. Maybe just one of them was supposed to go over here and I didn't realize it. Let's see. But we do have a coconut. Of course, this is the coconut head I tried to use earlier. It's just done on a minifig head. But this time we actually get the sprout for the top of the coconut. Isn't that adorable? Look at that. Lovely. Let's stick the coconut in here. And like I said, that banana, I think I may have put in one too many bananas in a barrel earlier. Let's just take one of those out. Put it up here. Did I say coconut? If I said coconut, I meant pineapple. Because I'm pretty sure it's a pineapple, right? I mean, if I said, which it's hilarious, if I said coconut. All right. Let's get this. Well, I don't want to go there. The banana is kind of huge for this box. All right, there we go. There we go. Then we have a baguette. That's right. Look at this thing. It's kind of adorable, though. And that goes in a barrel. Once again, I'm going to advise them against keeping the bread just in random barrels that are probably, it's probably not the most sanitary move, but hey. All right, so now we're building a little light fixture of some sort. And this is kind of just where the little lantern is held on the pier. And of course, you need little fixtures like this as you go. Okay, yeah, that works. We have the actual carrier of the light here, little post. We have a little extension. Okay. And the most complex assembly of all, lantern. Well, I got it wrong, so maybe it's more. There we go. Lantern and light. And of course, got it on there. Great. We're also building another little post for the dock. One's gonna go right. One's gonna go right there. And one right there. And we have one little suggestion of a post, but not an actual post. And one last page of instructions. This is just some exterior detail. It goes right here. And I love how you can see just the side of the ship as if they had to use it to build this. We have 2 rowing oars that they just have pinned on there. And I believe oh, I think it may be on the other side. Yeah, I gotta turn it around. There we go. Now we're cooking. Turn the oars to where you don't see all the copyright info. Which is a funny thing, but I like to keep everything turned to where that stuff isn't visible, if at all possible. And it has a very specific direction to keep it below the little brown piece. So I don't know if maybe there's something we build and it's gonna hurt the functionality of it if it's not below it. I think I need to get it a little lower to match what they're talking about. Yeah, I think that's right. So I think that should clear whatever structure we're gonna build. But for now, yeah, for now, I think we're good on this piece of the island. And I think that this is built to, like, I think we're gonna sort of park in part of the boat in here. And so for now, this is what we've got. And sure enough, I was right. There was only supposed to be 1 banana in there, so. Okay, so that's it for that piece. And let's see. So we have that done for now. And this was the first half of the boat that we built into one part of the island right here. The bay, I guess I should say. So this is just kind of a reminder of where we were. And then the mast goes way up beyond my review station. So look at that, the sky ends. Look at that. So this is I mean, this is gorgeous. And the colors, oh my gosh, the colors, fantastic, fantastic. All right, for now, let's park our boat over here. Let's put our bay right here, maybe on this side. And this should give us a nice space to work with because we are building the other half of the boat, or a section of the boat, as it were. Now, I will say that I am a little suspicious of myself because I look over and I have this piece left. And I know Lego, and they don't really give you actual extra large pieces like that much anymore. So I am just going to scrub through the instruction manual and make sure that on bag 7 I didn't miss anything, because I am a little suspicious of myself on that one. Because I know them, they don't hardly give away this stuff unless you just missed it. And, you know, and if they did, good for me. Laugh all the way to the bank, the Lego bank. Let's see. Okay, good. The way I do this is I just look at little pieces on top of each page and see where one of these might have been on each page and make sure I actually applied it where I was supposed to. Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, it must be all right. I guess I just had an extra piece. Hard as that is for me to believe, I guess it was an extra one. Let's do a little turn here and make sure everything's good. Maybe. I bet it was here. I think that's... Yep. That's the mystery. Pretty sure. Yeah, that was it. Okay. Moving on. See, I knew there's no way they'd give us that piece. There's no way. They love their profits a little too much to start giving away stuff now. All right, so bag number 8 starts the ship. So this should be interesting. The other half of the ship, should I say. In order to do that, we're going to need some of the big pieces. These are just the giant specialty pieces that you use for boats. It's funny how much the heavy lifting pieces like this do, but they really do. All right, we'll start with this piece. Get it at a good angle here. Bag number 8 is this one right here. Emptying out the littler bags here. All right, we're ready to roll. Well, There we go. Didn't think we were going to stick there for a second. When it comes to design, there's almost no better example that I know of than this set when it comes to kind of expanding a concept, like a basic design concept, as far pretty much as you can push it. And that's what I think the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set really does. It takes the, well, fairly simple concept of building a Lego pirate ship, something that's been done dozens and dozens of times, and it extrapolates that really simple idea into the furthest form you can take it in terms of art. It's how far can you go? Like, what are the possibilities? What are the build possibilities for a pirate ship? Is it possible to take it and make that idea something more grand? And the answer is absolutely. Just the whole idea of a wrecked pirate ship is 10 times more interesting than a perfect pirate ship. I think both are good, but I think wrecked is a lot better. Think about, and this is a very objective way of seeing it, at least for me, of course it's subjective, but still. The idea for me would be to ask myself, which one would you like to look at a painting of more? And I would rather see a painting of a wrecked pirate ship. It's going to be more interesting. It just is. So as funny as that is, yeah. There's a lot more art, at least to my eye, my sensibility. There's more art and imperfection than there is perfection. And that, my friends, is how I would become Talkie the Pirate, saying garbage like that. Arr, you should live stream, arr. Got a bucket there. I'll tell you what, on the instructions it should say that is the bathroom for the ship. We're building the restroom. It's important to have a John. It's got a heated seat, I heard. That's the rumor. Arg. I heard it has a heated seat so that you can really understand the luxury that most pirates lived in at this time in history. It's the only way to know. Oh. Pieces are flying everywhere. I thought building Lego was safe. Whoops. So yeah, they don't make buckets like they used to. And again, with a Lego set, they probably make buckets the same exact way that they've made them for 30 years. I'm hoping some Lego scholar corrects me on that and tells me, actually, that's a new bucket piece. Thank you, Lego scholar. You're brave. There we go. And we have a little mini build with a ball bearing at the end of it. And that's going to go for both sides. And I'm sure we'll use that to connect it to another element of the ship. That may be partially how we connect some of the halves here, but I don't know. There's a lot more building to go on this boat before it's even seaworthy. I see links to YouTube videos sometimes where they'll take things like the Black Sea's Barracuda and apparently they're putting it in water or pool or something to see if it'll float. I'm like, okay, probably not, but who knows? Maybe it does. It's possible, I guess. I have a feeling there's one too many gaps for that to be possible. Now, there's some Lego boats that I think they do for like Lego City or Ocean or whatever they call it, that do have like one solid piece at the bottom for the boat, and that may be enough to make it buoyant, perhaps. Buoyant, I think is the correct pronunciation. Pronunciation or pronunciation? If I could just learn how to pronounce, it would all be good. Some nice little slopes here. Some of these decorative pieces. We're just going to repeat that process one more time. There we go. And there's a whole bunch of this that we're just repeating for both sides of the boat. And we can see now why we left this little gap right here. Because that just goes right in. And over here, same deal. So you can see we're starting to get very similar on both sides. Not exactly the same, but close enough. Okay. Time to build up a few of the little 1x2 blocks here. 1 and 2. And those are just going to go beside as little posts. Just extend that detail out. Nice. You can't get to the really fun detail stuff without doing the support stuff. You got to build out the boat before you can start the truly fun decorating part. And that's okay. It's like hanging the drywall in a house. You got to have something to post the other stuff on. It's going to be something new they introduce here pretty soon, is the Lego drywall system. It's a great new way to hang drywall in your house. Amazingly, even more expensive than standard drywall. So, you know, it's a lose-lose for everybody. Takes longer, more expensive. Uses oil, you know, just like Lego. I've been seeing some videos that Lego has done recently about doing Lego pieces that are made out of 100% recycled plastic. I wonder how that'll turn out. It's a very admirable effort. Honestly, I would think Lego is one of the top plastic producers in the industry when it comes to the toy industry, that is. I'm sure there's other industries where it's a lot more prominent for different applications. But I would say Lego is probably one of the leaders in plastic production. So if they could do that and make it work, and I'll be honest, I'm a little skeptical about it working out very well, then it would be nice. It would be great to see it. Honestly, I think a lot of sustainability initiatives will only work if they benefit consumers. And that's the kind of sustainability we need to be really looking at, is could you do something like that and then it actually make Lego pieces cheaper to produce? I mean, I'm not so sure that would be the case right now, but I would love to see a future where that is the case, where it's like, you know, we found out that if we use these plastics, we reuse these plastics, then this is actually going to make the sets cheaper. And you see, that's where you get buy-in from consumers. Human nature will tell you a lot about the application of those sorts of policies, that kind of production. All right. And second verse, same as the first. Okay. Yeah, I had to just for a minute there. And sometimes my cats go a little crazy. Yeah. Check on my cats there and see what that was about, but they are okay. I have to keep my cats, I have 3 cats, and I have to keep them up above the basement. And of course, we all know what our little furry friends like to do if they're down here. They want to play with Lego too, but just not in the friendly way. They want to see if they can catch Lego, but they're okay. Every now and then, I think they get a little antsy, wondering what I'm doing. Well, maybe that's the next step for Lego. Maybe they should do the cat-friendly Lego. And by golly, if they make a Lego set that cats can then assemble, then that's that'll be an evolutionary step, not just for Lego but for cats. Maybe they infuse the catnip into the Lego. Because that's all it takes to get my cats interested in anything. I just, a little bit of catnip does it, man. It's all good. There's been plenty of little Lego mouse sets. Maybe that's, adapt those maybe for our little whiskered friends. But yeah, it'll be an interesting future for Lego. I do see them taking some big swings at sustainability, and we'll see how it works and, hope for the best. And I think it's the kind of thing, yeah. I was trying to think of a Buzz Aldrin cat pun, and I just couldn't do it. Fuzz Aldrin, there we go. But yeah, Lego is going to take some. I think that it's the kind of thing, the sustainability thing with the bricks, that they'll probably sort of get wrong once or twice before they ever get it right. And that is, of course, that's the scientific process. I mean, that's just going to be the way that it's done. So I think we're going to see a few different iterations of that before it gets there. Oh yeah, man, it's just terrific to see it. Anytime you can build that out, and you can get that really, it's just a kind of a satisfying feeling. With there's kind of little indentions and there's just personality built into it, and that is tremendous when you can get that going, and it's not just this little flat surface. It makes it 10 times more interesting. And you can just see with this set just the evolution of boat building and Lego. And it's almost kind of a flex at the beginning, because the idea at the beginning is almost like, you know what, this is a deconstruction. We're going to actually start by deconstructing a Lego boat to our fullest potential of what a Lego boat can be. We're going to start by giving you an x-ray of the boat. And then we're going to take you on a little builder's journey. We're going to reassemble the thing. It's a lovely, lovely way of doing it. And I think there's real artistic intention there. I think I have to respect that. That's very admirable. Very admirable. Got a little gold here. I got a fancy upper pirate ship, just a little. We got to make it more like Captain Hook's pirate ship from Hook, which may still be my favorite design for a pirate ship ever. And it was a massive set on a huge soundstage. I mean, it's still an unbelievable thing of great beauty, no matter how you look at the movie. The pirate ship in Hook is a real design triumph I think a lot of things in the movie are designed triumph. Yeah. See, I love Hook. And, I saw it. It was the first movie I can remember seeing in theaters. And very faint for me because I was like 4. But it still made a big impression on me. And me and my brother, we were playing it being Peter Pan and Captain Hook constantly with the toys that were out. And I remember when I got a little older, and I remember seeing that there was a lot of negative reactions to the movie. And it was one of those funny things where I literally couldn't believe it. I thought that it had been this universally praised and loved classic all of my life because of, just the way it was. And sadly, that was not the case. Not even a little bit. As a matter of fact, some people reviled it. Some people considered it Steven Spielberg's worst movie. Just all sorts of stuff that I wasn't even remotely aware was ever a feeling or ever an opinion or ever a thing. And it just goes to show that does it really matter what any of these critics or anything, Thanks, man. Appreciate you. You have a great night. Enjoy the movie. But, you just never know with that. And it doesn't matter what a critic thinks. If it's special to you, then it's special. That's all it ever needed to be. If it's special to you, who cares what anybody else thinks? Of course, it is nice to feel a sense of validation, isn't it? Honestly, I think that's what we all look for when we even read a review of something we've already seen. We're not looking for any help on whether we should see it or not because we already did. So that's not the purpose. We are hoping that someone validates the reason we like something. And some of that is healthy and some of that's unhealthy. I mean, we can be honest about that, I think. I remember when I was a kid, I would get really bent out of shape if I liked a video game and then read a bunch of bad reviews of that video game because it almost felt like I wasn't allowed to like it. Or that maybe even worse, that I had really bad taste and maybe I just didn't know what I was talking about. This happened a lot with licensed video games. And some of those truly were bad. And some of them, reviewers just beat up on because they were licensed video games. People don't want to acknowledge. I remember there being the industry, even when a licensed game, one that was based on a movie or a comic book or a cartoon, even when it was good, I think there was a real resistance for it to be acknowledged as good. I remember seeing reviews where people would eat like the Batman Begins video game. They would eat that video game alive. I still see YouTubers who think that they're doing some big thing by doing some kind of retrospective video where they're like, oh, this was awful. They put some kind of like clickbait thumbnail on there. I'm thinking, you morons. That game was actually really good for the time. And honestly did quite a bit of Batman Arkham stuff before Batman Arkham was a thing. So people can say what they want to about that game, but it was leaps and bounds ahead at that time, especially for a movie tie-in game that was released. I can't remember if it was released day and date with a movie, but that was almost always like the kiss of death. That was the death knell, like almost always. And so for it not to be for a product was highly impressive. Because it certainly wasn't. Anybody who truly played that game at the time, and I think that's important to have context there, it had to be at the time, then I would think you would understand what I'm talking about. It was very well executed. Then there was and then there's bright spots for some of the bad games. Like the Batman and Robin game on PlayStation. The one for the 97 movie, which was delayed and delayed and delayed. I think it came out months and months after it was supposed to. Even though that game is pretty badly designed, and it is badly designed, it honestly, it beat Grand Theft Auto 3 to the punch on a whole bunch of open world stuff. And I mean, it's hard for, I don't think anybody would ever acknowledge that, like professionally now, that the game had a lot of really advanced open world kind of stuff, and really stuff that it was pushing the PlayStation to do that it probably didn't have any business doing. Like a massive open world Gotham City. It's really pretty ambitious. And no matter how awful the design elements of that game were, like, I'll tell you one of the big death knells of that game. I'm saying death knell a lot, but one of the big death knells of that game was that they didn't have enough buttons on the PlayStation controller to map all the different actions that you could do in the game. So their solution, which on paper seems like an okay solution, is, hey, let's just have a button that switches what all the face buttons do. And it was just unbelievable that there was a button that then, it was one of the shoulder buttons or select or something, would switch what all the face buttons did. And my brother, Josh, is the only person that I know of that actually mastered all of the systems of that game and what you were supposed to do, because he was bound and determined. He was a true Batman fan, and he decided he was going to wrangle that game, and he was going to wrestle with it until he figured it all out. Now, granted, we were using a strategy guide because, honestly, the game was unplayable to the point that I sort of wonder, did they make like a deal with Prima Games? Was it Prima that did all the strategy guides? I think it was. To where it's like, oh yeah, just design it to where you have to have a strategy guide, or there is no way anyone who wasn't clairvoyant would be able to figure out the cryptic nature of Batman and Robin on the PlayStation. Oh my gosh, it's a cryptic nature, all right. I think the person who designed it, I really truly do wonder about what the thought process was. And I think people have asked similar questions, and I've never played it all the way through, but I think people have asked similar questions in recent years about the design process for, say, Castlevania 3 or Link's Adventure, which is Zelda 2, Adventure of Link, whatever it's called. But really, those questions for me, my childhood, were all about Batman and Robin, the movie die-in game, wondering how any person could have designed this, thinking that a human would be able to figure out the most, obfuscated clues imaginable to figure out how to proceed, and do it all on a clock. Batman and Robin is a game that is actually on a clock. Like, there's a countdown clock. It's running on like a whole time system where you got to do stuff on time. Things like you can like go to different areas, and if you're not there at the right time, then the place will have been like broken into, and maybe they've already made off with the diamonds Mr. Freeze needs to activate his big laser. Or maybe you'll get there and they're in process of robbing the place. It's really high concept stuff that I think really none of it was implemented until much, much, much later in the history of games. But some of it really is ahead of its time. It's just horribly, horribly implemented. It's almost like someone arrived from the future and tasked the designers with making a game that wasn't possible to make yet, and then blackmailed them into doing it. Sounds crazy, but that's how the game feels. It's like, all right, here's a PlayStation dev kit, and good luck. Make Grand Theft Auto 4. Make Grand Theft Auto 5. Heck, make that while you're at it. Because Batman and Robin has 3 playable characters that you can switch out at any time. Well, pretty much at any time. If you go to, I think you have to go to the Batcave to switch them out. So, Grand Theft Auto 5. It's hard, people think I'm crazy talking about this game like that, but hey, if you don't believe me, emulate the thing. You play it for a few minutes. You see what I'm talking about. It'll be as shocking to you as it was to me. Maybe nothing will be able to simulate how shocking it was to me in 97, but it's pretty shocking. You can drive around the city, you can visit all sorts of notable little locations. And I gave up on playing the game to win, to like beat the game. So anytime I played the game, and I did quite a bit, I was literally just driving around through the city, just kind of chilling. That's a Mr. Freeze pun, isn't it? Chill. And kind of just running around in the Batcave and stopping and beating up thugs. And it was so funny because by the time I played a Grand Theft Auto for the PS2, that feeling of just messing around, you know, and not really following the game, because I think 90% of the people, or at least 80% of the people who play any kind of open world game probably never complete the story. They're just messing around. That's like the only reason they're playing it. It's funny because for a lot of people that was a new feeling in 3D. And for me it was like, oh yeah, like in Batman and Robin on the PlayStation. It sounds insane because it is. It sounds made up, but I swear it's not. Like this was really like what went through my head. It sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. It is a little crazy. Just a little bit. Just a little. And this bag is wrapping up, my friends. We are almost through bag 8 completely. Bag 8 kind of sounds like baguette. Baguettes? Some Beauty and the Beast lines flashing before my eyes there. Kind of looks like we're making a battleship board. Ho, ho, ho. Go. Okay. There's a random piece for you. Looks like a black snowmobile. This is the big nose of the ship here. I love the shape we're getting right here. It's a beautiful shape just when you think about that just being purely brick built. It kind of juts out like that. Lovely, lovely. Okay, we're just gonna put this on there and help build that out a little bit. And what's interesting is we're kind of building the interior. We're building the skeleton that everything's going to be hanging off of. So that means, you know, once we're through this bag, it's a whole lot of, at least I think anyway, there'll be a whole lot more of a decorative element to it moving forward. At least I think. Here's a piece that was laying there. I didn't see it. Okay. It's funny, I combined 2 builds into one right there accidentally. And let's try that again. So this goes up here. And then this. Will go on the front. I was trying to do 2 steps in one, didn't realize it was 2 completely different things. This bucket is driving me crazy. Okay. Kind of connect it a little more. That's good. Get rid of some of that gappage there. We have some little connector elbows right here. So, and this kind of just gives it a little satisfying connection with this kind of nice little custom framing going around. I like that. Little elbow there. Little elbow here. I can just hear the starving pirates back there saying something really pitiful, like, did someone say elbow macaroni? Sorry, it's a horrible joke, not at the expense of these poor pirates. All right, so this is kind of the frame going right here. All right. So that does it for that bag. Of course, the next time we resume the build, we're working on bag number 9. A whole lot of yellow, a whole lot of decorative elements here. This is really going to bring up kind of the visual of the boat. And another minifig coming in there too. So I can't wait to see how it looks once we have it all together. I think it's going to be fantastic once we have this thing, once we have it a little bit closer, especially because we've gotten through this, which is more of what everything's going to hang off of. So I'm looking forward to it. And I want to thank everybody who stopped by and built with me tonight, of course. And if I don't see you tomorrow, hear from you tomorrow, then everybody have a very happy Thanksgiving. And of course, be thankful for each other. That's the main thing. Well, God bless you and yours, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Take care. Good night.